What the title reads, basically. I, 29 me, and my ex-fiancé, 29F, were together for 5 years. We should have been married now in the normal conditions, but I broke up with her and canceled the wedding 2 days before it because they invited male strippers to Bachelorette party. I am personally not a fan of these parties, but reluctantly agreed after both groom and bride side confirmed we would keep it simple. I told my ex-fiancé I am not comfortable with strippers or other kind of crazy things. She agreed. I also told my friends if they were to do a stupid thing without me knowing, we would have problems. We stayed at my friend's summer house and chilled there by the pool, did some WoW raids and played board games. My ex-fiancée and her friends went to a restaurant, then rented an Airbnb. There was no problem during the night, and next day I asked how things went. She and her close friends said it was really chill and good. We returned to the city center after that. I encountered another bridesmaid that day when I was shopping for a bracelet for my ex-fiancée for her upcoming birthday. I asked that girl, how's everything, as we were in the same department at the college, but rarely talk now. She is closer with my fiancé than me. She said, it's going good, and last night was crazy with all the strippers. After saying that, she looked uncomfortable. I asked her about the details, but she was not willing to tell much. I think she realized she should not have talked about it. I laughed, said goodbye, and left. I confronted my fiancé and she seemed surprised about it. She was denying it first, then told me nothing crazy happened, and one of the bridesmaids invited strippers. I reminded her that it was a strict boundary for me. I asked about the details, but she said there was nothing much with strippers, just solo dances, and that's it. I told her I need some time to think. Almost all of the bridesmaids messaged me ensuring nothing happened when I was on my way back home, definitely not coordinated. Things happened after that, but in the end I decided to break up and cancel the wedding. I lost some money since it was only 2 days before the wedding. Things are not cool right now. My head is messed up. I get criticism from everyone and no idea about what to do. My sister told me to see a therapist to process my thoughts and feelings. That is what I'll do next. Some mutuals suggested me that I should reconsider things and stop being so whiny about such a small thing. I do not think it's such a small thing, especially when they all tried to hide it from me. Ata here. There has been no updates as of late, so viewers, what are your thoughts? Is it justified? Story 2. Ada for giving my daughter a breakdown of what it cost to raise her when she asked me for her university funds. My daughter Ava was a handful growing up. Her dad passed away when she was 5, and even with therapy, she was a very angry child. I still love her very much. She is my daughter, and I would do anything for her that I can. Her dad didn't have a lot of insurance, but enough to pay off a small house, and set aside an emergency fund and top up my daughter's 529 education fund. I kept adding to it over the years, not much, but as I could. When she was 11, I met and married my husband. I thought Ava was okay with it. She never brought up any problems to me or in our therapy sessions. She was not. When she was 13, she accused him of something inappropriate. I called the cops immediately. He was arrested and he lost his job. He was innocent. She did it to get rid of him. We divorced. I was obviously heartbroken. I did my best not to take it out on her. I did punish her. She started acting out. She got expelled from school, then another. I ended up having to send her to a private school. Even with a voucher, it was expensive. It worked, though. She is graduating this year with honors and a scholarship. She asked me about the money in her account. I said it was all gone. She got very upset because her scholarship won't cover all costs. Even with financial aid, she will still be paying a fair amount. I said I would co-sign a student loan for what she needs. She said that she wanted to know where the money went that I wasted. So I got out a pen and paper and wrote it all down. The cost of my divorce. The rising cost of living that I paid for by myself since I didn't have a partner. Her tuition and fees for private school. By the end, she was crying and saying that I was blaming her for everything. I never have. I did punish her for the trouble she caused with my ex, but I think that was reasonable. She is upset that she will have to take out a loan. I also made it very clear that I would not be responsible for paying it back. She thinks I'm being cruel by saying that she is responsible for stupid things she did as a child. I'm not, but I cannot pull the money I had to spend because of her out of my ass. Update. Thank you all for your comments, even the ones where you called me a raving bitch for calling the cops after my daughter's allegations. First, my ex was completely cleared. He was never home at the times she alleged the SA. We have security cameras in my house. There are exactly 0 videos of him entering her room or being inappropriate with her in the common areas. I have already commented on the other evidence that got the charges against my ex dropped. She admitted the truth and said that she was doing it to get him out of our house. He is doing okay now. He has a new job, and he and I still talk. Her excuse was that she didn't think I would immediately call the cops. She thought I would just kick him out since it is my house. She felt trapped and like she couldn't back down. She has never apologized to him. She has been in therapy since she was 5, both on her own and with me. To my knowledge, she never mentioned anything about SA to her therapist, and they are mandatory reporters. Second, I told her that I will not be co-signing her loans. I told her that I will be backing her up and doing my best to make sure that she does not default, but I am not risking my home or my future for her. She fully understands now where her savings went. She is upset with herself mostly now. She realizes that the private school was my last choice, and only necessary because of choices she made. Thank you all for your help. Third, since I do not care about karma, I will be giving this account to either you Frickfrel or you Vermilion Ocelot tomorrow. They are welcome to delete the posts or sell the account for the 59 cents it is worth. Story 3. Aite for having an allergic reaction at a dinner party? My friend from work, we'll call her Amy, invited my husband and me, as well as a few of her neighbors, over to her house for a potluck last night. It wasn't supposed to any big thing, just a nice get-together, but Amy insisted on making dessert. She's an accomplished baker and has even been to pastry school, so none of us were complaining. We got through the evening just fine, and I would actually say that I made a few friends, but by the time dessert rolled around, I knew there would be a problem. Amy had baked a wonderful cherry pie, but I've never tolerated cherries well. I assume it's an allergy, but I've never been formally tested, so I don't know. I really like the taste of cherries, though, and I needed something sweet after the meal, so I helped myself to a big slice. At the time, I thought it would look a bit weird of me to turn it down, especially because I've raved about Amy's desserts before. But now I'm wondering if this was the right move. For the first few minutes after eating, everything was fine, but soon I felt quite warm in the face. When I went to the bathroom and saw myself in the mirror, there was some slight swelling around my eyes, but I didn't think too much of it. After all, my previous bad experience with cherries involved gastrointestinal symptoms, so the puffiness was new. When I returned to the table, though, several of the guests began staring at me. They asked me if I was okay, and I assured them that I was. Soon, things got worse, though, and even my tongue started to swell. At this point, I took some Benadryl out of my purse and swallowed it to prevent the reaction from getting worse. I didn't want to be any more of a distraction than I already was, but unfortunately, I couldn't participate in the conversation anymore because my big tongue didn't allow me to speak properly. The Benadryl eventually did its job, but it made me really tired. I excused myself to the living room, where I fell asleep on the couch. My husband woke me up when it was time to go, and he seemed pretty embarrassed. In fact, he would barely speak to me on the way home. When we got home, he finally broke his silence and said that I made a fool of us. He continued that if I knew I had a cherry allergy, I should have simply refused the dessert. I couldn't believe his attitude. Amy practically forced the pie on us, and she didn't list the ingredients beforehand. In fact, she never asked about food allergies before hosting this party. My husband said that she would have understood if I had said no, and that I looked like a swollen mess at the table. Things have been really tense between us all day, and I feel like he's not listening to me at all. I did what I thought was right, and it simply didn't work out. That happens to all of us, yet he seems to want an apology for a simple miscalculation. I need to know your opinions on this. Aita.